Hello everyone, today I'd like to introduce Mr. Abdullah Al Absi, owner of Blaze Burgers and IlCapo. He'll be talking to you about the importance of market positioning.
One advice that I always, like to give is that you always need to have good team around you, good business partner, not in like shareholders, but more like stakeholders, people you can trust with advice, people that you can depend on, you can get some technical knowledge. You can't do everything by yourself. You just do your best to get the best team around you. I was planning to talk today about target market and market positioning and creating a new category in a certain matured market. Then I thought the best guy that could help me out with is Essa Al Mawda is my long-time consultant in branding and marketing, and with him, thankfully we managed to develop Blaze Burger, and we're continuing to developing the brand and inshallah in the future to take it to franchise status. And now we're working with him from scratch on IlCapo Pizzeria. I guess it's better now to leave the floor for عيسى so he can go in detail on these technicalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you, everyone. I really enjoy working with Abdullah because not everyone in Bahrain understand like doing business the right way. So I don't want to give another introduction. I'll jump right away to how to enter a market that's already matured, which is like most people say, okay, there's a new product. Let's do, let's say, a social media network, a new one because it's a new market, or let's do whatever, something new that no one's really, for example, he could enter like to Japanese restaurants, which is not really matured in Bahrain, for example. But he started with Blaze Burgers. The thing about mature market is it's really hard to compete in because the players are settled in. It's their own territory. Customers already know where they're getting, let's say, their burgers from. So creating a new category wasn't actually difficult. It's kind of finding the right mix between what's already there in the market. For example, we got the fast food burgers, and then we got the more expensive burgers, or the American chains, for example, like Chili's Fridays, or even like Meatco. All these more expensive places, and then you got the fast food, which is basically like stuff like McDonald's, Burger King, Just Me's, etc. So what Abdullah created is product that fits in the middle. It's high quality, but it's somewhat not as expensive and not as full service as the other restaurants. You don't find a waiter that comes to your table and asks you for what's your drink, whatever, and then bring you the bill to your table. It works almost like fast food, but with higher quality and with a nice environment. Competitors. Why are we afraid of competitors? If we're creating a new market, competitors are actually good, because what they will do is they will promote the new category. They will help you promote it. Like, people are not really aware that there is something in the middle. Now they are more aware. I brought Shake Shack as an example because it's not really established in Bahrain.
When we look at our sales trend, it's always our sales hike up 2 months after a new competitor comes to the market. So that's actually intense, adds to the point. It's not always a bad thing to have a competitors when you are in a new category. It's always, people always, complain about competition, complain about it, but it's actually a good thing, especially if you are working in a blue ocean.
But also, when it comes to competitors, you don't just sleep on your business and say, okay, competitors are good. You actually need to keep up with the competitors. Yeah, it tastes like tikka, but it's a burger. So this was a special that Abdullah created, and he rolled it out twice. like each time for only 1 month as special. So people would come for it to try it. This actually, like another product is Balalit milkshake. Yes, it tastes like Balalit, but it's a milkshake. It was a special, but then it's fixed in the menu. Now I'll jump to IlCapo. When Abdullah came to me, he came to me with just 2 parts of the idea, which is it's a pizza place, and the name will be IlCapo. Okay? And IlCapo means the head of, let's say, a boss. The head of a family, the head of anything. It's a boss. On what occasion would you buy a pizza? For what reason you... Sharing, hungry, movies, dinner, parties. Abdullah's idea was the New York pizza, which actually I lived in New York for 3 years and a half, and I really know what New York pizza means. It's really delicious, even if you ate it the next day. Now it's about positioning. If you have a product, the product will just go to waste, because there has to be a way to communicate the product to your clients. If you can't communicate the product, it's just a really good idea and that's it. You will get nowhere with it. So how do we communicate? This is not a fast food pizza. Although we don't have a place to eat in IlCapo, you can only get it by pickup or delivery. But you're getting a really good quality out of it. You'll enjoy movies and hangouts and like parties buying this pizza, because it's not a fast food pizza. Now we want people to take it seriously. Okay? In 2 terms. Yeah. It's serious in terms of quality, and it's serious in terms of the character or the brand. It's called the brand personality. Let me give an example of that. If we took Pepsi and we imagine Pepsi as a real person, and what would it be male or female? Male. What's his favorite hobby? Football, hangout, music, all these sort of things. Now we're imagining the person as a real. I mean the brand as a real person. In IlCapo, we're trying to build a strong brand by communicating something people are relevant to. People like movies, and there are a big number of people who like mafia kinds of movies, even TV shows like Sopranos. So we're using these elements. How we're using them? Everywhere. And the menu, we're calling the pizzas the usual suspects, which is a movie also, because they're the usual kinds of pizzas, like pepperoni, cheese pizza, or mushrooms, or whatever. There's an idea of having the special pizza menu, which would be called something like pizzas you cannot refuse, as an offer you cannot refuse. Even the wording we're using in the menu, it would sound like the boss is saying it. One of the products is the cannoli, which is an Italian dessert. I don't think it's available in Bahrain, and it's very Italian. The other thing is, in social media, Abdullah always sounds like it's the boss who's talking. It's not a PR channel. I would only advise of that if it would work with the brand itself. For example, Tamkeen should talk official. But if we went to, let's say, McDonald's, Pepsi, Cola, any brand that has a casual kind of personality should also be casual. This is a picture of the oven. Luca Brasi is a bodyguard, used to be the bodyguard of the Godfather. This is a way to communicate the brand. The location, it's actually Abdullah chose. That was even earlier than before I came to this project. It's in Head, but very close to entrance to Amwaj, and it's a strategic location for delivery.
I have a question. Now we talked about the marketing, the positioning, the concept. Can you just give us insight into the food?
When you go to New York, say let's take a smaller area like Manhattan. Within Manhattan, which is a highly populated part of New York, there is hardly like 2 Domino's and 1 Pizza Hut. Hardly you can find these franchises. The reason, although pizza is very popular, New York, they consume they consume lots of pizzas, and you can find the pizza in one corner, and just you walk 100 meters and you find another pizza place. The thing is, these franchises, they don't consider it, a quality pizza. Hardly you can compare it to the micro franchises, the small, four branches or 5 branches pizzerias in New York, or Lombardi, or famous pizzerias. The thing is that the kind of dough, the kind of oven, the attention to details that you might get to a product will significantly improve your product. Ingredients, the way you handle the ingredients, these things are really important. You must be passionate about what you're doing before you even think of doing it. The thing is that I do my homework. I know what is the best product. I like
research.
Exactly. I actually fly to different countries to find out what's happening there. So,
To New York twice.
yeah, I actually went to New York for a week just to, scout the best burger places, like even for breakfast. Blaze, actually, as Essa mentioned, at the time of opening, there was 2 categories. Fast food, cheap, but yet inferior product. Everything is frozen, up to the buns, up to the cheese. So basically, it wasn't something that you will enjoy eating. It's something that you want to satisfy your hunger. So, and there are the really gourmet burgers where you need to go to a fine 5-star steakhouse, somewhere like that, and pay like up to 7, 10 BDs, and you need to be formal. So there is a gap in price-wise and in experience-wise. Why don't you have a casual hangout where you can have freshly made patties? Actually, we ground the meat same day at Blaze. We have a restriction of the beef, and also restriction on from where the beef comes from. So we choose certain beef cuts from certain farms, from certain providers, and we commit to certain quantities to the extent that we even cover the waste. If our suppliers do not get the, we commit to a certain minimum quantity. So it's a bit challenging at the beginning, but later on when you have the volumes, the size. Here in Bahrain, nobody go eat by themselves. It's just uncommon. I mean, if you don't have a company to a restaurant, you actually won't go. You'll stay at home and have a bite there. So you need to know the difference in culture. So we try to make Blaze as more of a hangout than grab and go. We chose Head because of logistic. If you go all the way to Amaj, you just restrict yourself to Amaj. So Head, it's really good location right now. You have new developed area nearby. You've got Arad also next to you. So we actually plan by March to cover Arad, Head, Galali, and Amaj. That's the thing. You need to be creative to a certain level. You can't just drop something that people are totally not familiar with. There are so many exotic kind of pizza toppings and these things, but you need to keep in mind that still, although if you try something different, you need to have a taste that you are familiar. That's the thing. You need to have pepperoni. You might need to tweak the pepperoni to give it a look or a taste that is different. That's important. Like margarita also, there are so many different ways to do a margarita. You just need to stand out. Before initiation, I would say IlCapo Blaze 2 years, IlCapo 1 year because of learning curve.
Yeah, but then you don't really stop planning.
Exactly.
Like every time you reevaluate your business, and then you might need to adjust the plan. Thank you everyone for listening. And
you.